Now, in this section, we're going to look at different ways of visualizing qualitative and quantitative data. The first one that we're going to look at is called a stem and leaf plot. And in a stem and leaf plot, each number is separated into what is called a stem and a leaf. We can display quantitative data in a stem and leaf plot, right? So numbers. Stem and leaf plots are similar to a histogram, but have the advantage that the graph still contains the original data. So if we look down here, the following are the numbers of text messages sent last week by the cell phone users on one floor of a college dormitory. We want to display this data in a stem and leaf plot, and then we're asked, what can we conclude? So here's our data set. First, we can look here where this is going to be unordered, which is okay. It's a rough kind of sketch of what's going on. And we have to specify a key. So when you see something that looks like 15 and then the vertical bar 5, that's equal to 155. So this on the left-hand side is called the stem, and on the right-hand side is called the leaf. So notice that the number 155 is right here. 159 is the next one. Then we had 144, which is right here. And this is a good way of getting this stem and leaf plot just written down, unordered. Ideally, though, to make it easier to read, you want to order each one of the leaves. So that is what this second example of a stem and leaf plot is. Notice that we have 112, 112, 112. So in this data set over here, we have 112, 112, 112. There's only 3 instances of that, and we can easily see that from this stem and these 3 leaves. Whereas over here, we know that we have a 112 and a 112, but we also have a 112 out there. So if we're going too quick, we could miss this third 2. But having it ordered really helps. Now, what can we conclude from these stem and leaf plots? Looking at this, we can see that more than 50% of cell phone users send between 110 and 130 text messages. Right, and how did we get that? Well, if we look, 110 is this stem for 11, and 130 is the stem 13. So right in here is the majority of our data. And if you counted up how many things are in these 3 stems versus the total, you'll have more than 50% in those 3 stems alone. Next, what we can do is we can organize the data in this previous example using a stem and leaf plot that has 2 rows for each stem. And what we're going to do with those 2 rows is the first row with that stem is going to be for numbers that end between 0 and 4. And then the next row will go numbers from 5 to 9. And this has certain advantages, especially when you're dealing with numbers such as that in our example. So here again is an unordered stem and leaf plot where each stem is broken into 2. Here's the ordered version, and this gives us a finer or more zoomed in interpretation of the data than this one. This is very rough. This is a little bit finer and easier for us to analyze or get better ideas of what's going on. We're asked to conclude something, so most cell users sent between 105 and 135 text messages. Right, so it's a little bit of an improvement between 110 and 130. And we get that by looking at 110, our second stem that has a 10, and 135, which is going to break right here. So most of our data is between here and here. Another way to visualize data that's similar to a stem and leaf plot is called a dot plot. So in a dot plot, each entry is plotted using a dot above a horizontal axis. And we'll see a picture of that on the next page.